Hey friends, I'm going to show you a quick Schroth workout today using one of my favorite Schroth exercises, which is the prone on knees exercise. And I'm going to be doing it with this green band. It's a pull-up assist band. It's medium weight, fairly thick. And I always like to anchor it on the stall bar, but if you don't have a stall bar or you don't have something like that at home, you can also anchor it around the leg of a heavy table or some really solid piece of furniture that won't budge. And you can do this exercise without the band as well. So I'm going to come and I'm going to anchor it over here at about the 5th rung on my set of stall bars here. And then you're going to loop, take that loop and kind of put it over your head, wiggle into it, come forward so that you've got that band kind of low and around your hips and kind of snug. And then you come into this 4-point position on all fours. So you're on hands and knees. Hands should be right under shoulders. Knees should be right underneath your hips. You're trying to be in a nice tabletop position here. And then you should feel like you're getting a little bit of resistance from that elastic band if you're using it. You can turn your hands in. So your pinkies touch and your thumbs touch. I'm basically making like little triangles on the ground here. You can also just place your hands close together where they're comfortable. And then I'm going to lower down onto my elbows and keep my forehead just hovering right above my hands. It's a little better exercise for your neck this way than if you were to rest your head all together. So if you have to do that, you can, but it's nicer if you can keep your head lifted. Keep that neck, that continuation of the rest of the spine here. And then just like always, you're going to start with your breath. Thinking about inhaling and lengthening, creating expansion through the concavities of your back, bringing prominences down towards the ground, concavities up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, press elbows wide, head and hips opposite directions. Inhale and lengthen, creating as much length and width through your spine as possible. And then as you exhale, elbows wide, head and hips opposite directions. You can do a few more breaths here. This position can get tiring on the arms. If that's happening, you can sometimes scoot your knees just a teeny bit closer to your hands and take a little pressure off. But you have to be careful that it's not too much because you really want to maintain that nice lengthened spine. So I'm going to take a couple more breaths, trying to find as much length, width, and expansion as I can. And then I'm going to come back into sitting for a moment and take a little rest break because that can be fairly challenging just to be in that position. And then I'm going to do a variation of arms. So in this exercise, you can keep your hands like I had them, where the fingertips of your pinkies and thumbs are about touching and you're kind of in this position. Or we can extend out one arm or even both arms. Hand position can depend a little bit on the curve. So if you have a primary thoracic curve that is concave to the left, so the prominence is on the right, doing this exercise and just extending that left arm will sometimes help you lengthen and open up that left side a little bit better. If you want to feel just a little bit more challenge generally, you can stretch both arms forward. If you liked where you were, you can come back to that hands just right underneath forehead. I'm going to do just stretching the left arm forward here next. So I'm going to come back into that tabletop position, walking forward on my knees till I feel like I've got a little bit of tension from the band pulling me back. Doing my best to already be in decent alignment here. So thinking about keeping my ears in line with my shoulders, shoulders relatively in line with my hips, trying to keep spine nice and neutral. I'm going to start by coming down into that same position where I've got my pinkies touching and thumbs touching. And then I'm just going to reach up towards the corner of my mat here with the left arm and feel a little bit of additional stretch on that left side and take a few more breaths here. So inhaling and lengthening and exhaling, keeping that nice expansion, pressure, and tension. Inhale again and lengthen, expand. And you can think exhale, maintain, keep lots of length, lots of width. Neck is long, Head is still just hovering right above my other hand here. Inhaling again and lengthening. And exhaling, keeping that nice pressure and tension. I'm going to do a couple more breaths. And then I'm going to come back into my starting position. If you feel like you're starting to fatigue, you can't maintain your best correction, you're not able to hold good alignment, that's a sign you're done. So I'm going to come back up in to my tabletop and then just sitting back on my heels again for a moment and taking a few breaths, recentering myself here. I'm going to slip out of the band because I'm going to do just a few hip mobility exercises next. The goal of this is to get mobility from the hips while keeping the lumbar spine neutral and not moving. So a common issue for many people, and especially people with scoliosis, is that we sometimes like to move the lumbar spine or the lower back with our hips. And so separating the ability to get motion from your hip without needing to move through the back is a really useful and important skill to have. It becomes the basis of other exercises. It's also really functional just in terms of sitting to stand and those types of movements that we all do throughout the day as well. So I'm going to come back into a tabletop here, trying to have my hands directly under shoulders, knees directly under hips here, long neutral spine, and then we're just going to do some hip circles. Sometimes you'll also hear this called hip cars or controlled articular rotations. So just really thinking about the movement coming from the hip joint and trying to get that full motion from the hip, almost like you're drawing a circle with your knee on the floor. It's a little bit of work for the upper body, trying to hold myself as stable as I can. Remember, it's not always about perfection. It's about doing the best that you can in the moment that you're in. I'm going to switch and do a few on the other leg here too. First, I'm going to reset, find the best alignment that I can, and then come again and try to make those nice circles, imagining that I'm drawing a circle on the floor with my knee here, trying to keep my spine as neutral as I can. As I'm doing this, we'll do maybe one or two more. And then you can go opposite direction here too. So if you came and you remember, if you went clockwise or counterclockwise, we'll do one more time and try to do the opposite of what you did. So I'm going to come the opposite direction. You might find that one way feels a little bit more natural than the other. That's okay. You can just key into trying to get a little more fluid motion, as symmetrical of movement as you can. And then we'll do other side. So I think I'm going this way this time. Try to remember which way you went the first time and switch and do the opposite way the next time, if you can. And then I'm going to come back and rest a little bit again. So it's a little bit of a glute workout in addition to getting that nice mobility from the hips. And that does just really become important later with exercises like squats or deadlifts, getting that hip hinge motion, getting enough rotation at the hips. And so it's a great exercise to practice. All right, I'm going to take just a few more breaths in sitting, trying to be nice and tall, lots of length throughout the spine here. There's your short and quick workout for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have questions or comments. I'm always curious and interested in how I can help more. So please feel free to leave me some feedback. I read it all and try to do my best to get back to you with any questions you may have too. All right, thanks for watching.